Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. Thank you, everyone, for coming. This is a Community Day, a call to action, and very happy to host this webinar on behalf of Racing Together. My name's Charlotte Russell. I work for Go Racing in Yorkshire, and we've been quite active with Community Day and with our Yorkshire Beacon project with Racing Together. Just a bit of housekeeping before we start. There is a Q&A function, so if anyone has any questions as we go along, please type those into the Q&A button, which you'll find at the bottom of your screen. And also, if you would like some more information, there will be a screen at the end of the webinar, a slide which on the last screen, which will have more information about where you can sign up for further information. So we've got some great panelists today, and without further ado, I'm going to ask them all to introduce themselves. So going across my screen, if I could start with you, please, Juliet.
Hi, yeah, I'm Juliet Frost. I'm the COO for the Thoroughbred Breeders Association. So we represent all the British breeders in industry, and we're also a charity. So we support veterinary research and education. Last year was the first time we took part in Community Day, and obviously this year we are going to continue with that.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing more about that. Jo, can you tell us a bit about yourself, please, and your connection with Community Day?
So I'm Jo Flaherty and I work for Chelmsford City Racecourse. I head up customer service, community, charity and membership. However, charity and community is definitely my passion. So I've been there 4 years, and yeah, that side of the business, we're building relationships and it's just growing. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to tell you a bit about that later.
Excellent. Thank you, Jo. And Nicola, your perspective, please.
Hi, I'm Nicola George, Head of Fundraising for Ayrshire Cancer Support, a local Ayrshire charity which is corporate partner of Ayr Racecourse. So hopefully I'll tell you more about all the great work that we do in conjunction with Ayr Racecourse and volunteering that Ayr Racecourse provide for our charity.
Thank you, Nicola. And as I said, I'm Charlotte Russell, General Manager of Go Racing in Yorkshire. We run the Yorkshire Beacon, which brings together all the charitable activity of our 9 Yorkshire racecourses. And I'm also organised the activity for the Community Day on behalf of our racecourses for the smaller courses who want to join in. So let's get straight on with the questions. Jo, why don't you start by telling us what community activity you undertook at Chelmsford for Community Day last year?
So so in 2022, actually, we did a Community Day, which we then made bigger actually in 23. So I did a bit of research and came across the Eden Project Month of Communities. Now that's actually in June, but if anyone would like to go onto their website, it's absolutely brilliant for volunteering. So we supported that, and we did one of their initiatives is Carers Week. So they have Volunteers Week, they have Neighbourhood Watch Week, they have the Great Big Green Week, the Great Get Together Week, those sort of things. So it's really good. So we decided that in order to help our community, we have done volunteering as well, which we'll come on to later, but we invite unpaid carers to come to the racecourse without their dependents to enjoy racing. So it's really helping them out because they're complimentary tickets, they get to come racing, and we also invited a carers charity to be on hand to give advice. So we did that, and then last year we did the same again, but we had about 4 charities there, so all from the caring sector, and we had even more guests take up the offer of tickets. So that was our way of helping the community and helping unpaid carers who really don't get much respite. So yeah, the Eden Project Month for Communities is just a brilliant website, gives you lots and lots of ideas. But we have actually been out to volunteer as well with a couple of local organisations, and this year we're going to the Wilderness Trust, which is quite local to us, and that's to help out doing gardening in their therapy garden. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be going out and volunteering. If you can do that, obviously great, but there are lots of ways of helping out the community at your organisation, such as we spoke a bit about earlier, about litter picking, any small things like that. So yeah, I would definitely encourage people to take a look at that website, because they really do have some great ideas. It can be holding a cake sale, and using your time for that, or baking, which obviously you're still using your time to help out. And then it doesn't necessarily have to be raising money for charity either. But obviously, if you do help a charity, then you're also helping the community as well.
That sounds wonderful, and really good to hear how your initiative has grown year on year as well, which must be very rewarding for you.
It is, and it gives the charities a chance as well to come and sort of raise their profile and to give advice on unpaid carers and the support that's out there for them. So it just means you're broadening that support network and giving them a platform at the racecourse to do that, but also giving the unpaid carers some respite and a nice thing to do for them to come and enjoy racing. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Brilliant, that's great. Juliet, you were new to the Community Day project this year, so do you want to tell us about how you got involved and what you did?
Yeah, I can't remember where I saw it, to be honest. It was on the Racing Together website, or it might have been on an email, but I looked at it and thought, actually, what a good idea. And we are tending, I think, as an industry, or certainly from our side of things, we can be a bit introspective. And I do think it's a really good idea to get out there and be a bit more inclusive with the community. So in the first year, we kept our sights relatively low, but the whole team went out and we litter picked in one of our local villages, Chippenham, which is actually in Cambridgeshire. It was pretty easy. I organised it and just contacted the local recycling department of the council, and they provided all the kit, gave us some advice, told us where to leave the bin bags, things like that. So it's actually awfully easy to organise. And we went out and we did 2 hours of litter picking. We got 8 bags, rubbish bags full of various items from the hedgerows around Newmarket. I won't go too far in detail. But yeah, it probably helped, frankly, that the weather was nice and it was a nice May day, lovely spring day. Everybody was out. It was actually quite nice just to take the whole team out of the office, apart from anything else. So that's what we did last year. And on the back of that, obviously, we'd like to carry that forward and hopefully get the message out to some others in our sector, particularly, to take part in whatever way they can.
Yeah, I have to say, Juliet, I think a litter pick is a really good way to start. I know that was the first thing I organised when I took over, and it was we were able to do it in our local community and around the Gallop, so it was serving the racing community as well. Yeah. But yes, we did find some interesting things. Our most interesting thing was a paddling pool, I think, that we yes, anyway, there we go. Nicola, can you tell us a bit more about what you've been doing with Ayr Racecourse? I know some on the webinar may already have heard about it because it's award-winning as well. So perhaps you can go into a bit more detail about your partnership with Ayr Racecourse, please.
Yeah, I'll certainly go into more detail later on, but certainly in terms of volunteering day last year, we operate across 3 Ayrshires. So there's an East, a North and a South Ayrshire. We have a cancer support centre in East Ayrshire, and we recently bought a new building to be our cancer support centre in South Ayrshire. Big building, lots of grounds, and on volunteering day last year, Ayr Racecourse across all departments, across operations, across grounds team, admin, etc., all came down because what we needed to do was we had to start offering services from the building as an interim measure before the major refurbishment work started. So we had massive car park out the front, full of weeds, full of rubbish, you name it. Then we had a garage in the back that needed to be cleared, a garden in the back that actually just needed to be tidied up and spruced up. So it was kind of easy on the eye, quite appealing, and it didn't look like a complete overgrown jungle. As well as just general maintenance of the grounds. So for the day, the volunteers from Ayr Racecourse came down, several trips to the dump with all the rubbish and rubble. They took out all the weeds, sprayed all the weeds to kill them, cut the grass, and actually we get lovely planters donated, and then at a local garden centre donated bedding plants. So they planted everything up for us, and by the end of it, it completely transformed. So if you're coming in for counselling or therapies or whatever you're coming into, to our centre for, it actually was a nice, welcoming environment, and made such a difference. That day alone just made such a difference for patients who were coming in to use our services. So that's what we did in Volunteering Day last year. And as I say, it could be as little or as much, or but something like that is so impactful for us. We don't have the time. We're a very lean organisation, very lean staff. We don't have the time to do that. So actually, to have this amazing partnership, corporate partnership with your racecourse is invaluable for us. Absolutely invaluable, and it takes many guises in many forms.
Brilliant. And how did it come about, Nicola? Because you're sort of on the receiving end of the community engagement day. So how did your partnership come about with Ayr Racecourse?
So I think, so our partnership's been started in 2018, so it's quite a while it's been running, and each year it develops more and more and more, and I think the partnership is stronger each year. But it came about by, I think, the winners of the racecourse having a conversation with our CEO at the time, and that's how the partnership developed. And obviously, now Lindsay Smith, who is the marketing manager of Ayr Racecourse, is now a trustee on our board as well. So the partnership's really integrating and really growing strength.
That's really
such a benefit to the Ayrshire community and beyond, actually, as well.
That's great to hear. And I know on a similar vein with Wetherby Racecourse, part of Go Racing in Yorkshire, they did something similar on a community day. They started working with Wetherby in support of the elderly, and they came for a race day, and they've continued the partnership. They've had these the members of the group have been into the racecourse on non-race days to help with planting. So it's really good stuff for their mental health, and a lot of the people that they're working with are people who they just don't get out and about very much, which is what the charity does. So it's really helpful in that respect, and it's wonderful to see the different activity that they've continued with throughout the year and subsequent years. And I think Juliet, Joe, you were saying that your programme has developed a bit more into the community. Do you want to add to that?
Well, yeah, I think because we've got more charities involved now. When we market the event and when we invite people, we go to all these charities. So obviously now they're spreading the word, and they all have members on their database, and with people in need. So it is about spreading the word out there, which is really important. And going by what Nicola said as well, we also went out, and last year we did we went to Abberton Rural Training, which is a local charity who help disadvantaged groups of people get back into employment. And it was similar to yours, Nicola, actually. They had a property that they'd acquired. It was a local site, and the garden needed completely weeding, and to the point where there was a path that you couldn't even see, that we had to completely uncover. We did planting, weeding, mowed the lawn, and again we transformed the whole garden. So we had a team of people, and it's about building relationships with these charities as well. It leads to a bit of networking, really, because you get to meet people, and they also support ex-veterans, people with that have come out of that situation and have maybe have some mental health issues and need support. So we do like to support the armed forces at Chelmsford as well. We did a remembrance race day last year, which we're hoping to make bigger this year as well. So building relationships with these charities does, we build connections as well, and it helps more people as you go, through these events, because they're supporting us, because we hopefully will be getting the government's Armed Forces Covenant, because we are doing quite a lot for the armed forces. There's another charity that I support that's Blesma, Limbless Veterans charity. It's an amazing charity that gets people back doing sports, and they haven't without their limbs. And they of all these charities obviously rely on public generosity. So that's just one of a number of charities that I support. So they come to the racecourse as well, and we raised £5,000 for them last year. So, and the Royal British Legion got involved with us with our Remembrance Race Day, and that was another £2,000. So it is definitely about building those relationships out in the community with charities and with the public. So this year we will be going to Abberton Rural Training again, and also the Wilderness Foundation, which we've arranged to go to clean tents, lay bark, wood chip in their flower beds, that sort of thing in the garden. But what I would say is, it doesn't have to be, we're quite a small team at Chelmsford, it doesn't have to be everybody. I just put the word out to everybody that we're doing it. And I think on the back of last year, for the people that couldn't make it, they saw the photos that we had. Again, we were very lucky. We had a really, lovely day. And everyone wants to do it this year because it is such a good day, and you do feel like you're helping, and you are giving back to the community, which is really, really important. And we had really good feedback to say that it actually made a big difference. We did make a difference. So you have to put a bit of hard work in, but at the same time that you're helping them, and you get a lot of satisfaction out of it.
I can really relate to that, Jo, about people wanting to get involved. And I think that's where we as Go Racing in Yorkshire, because a lot of our race courses are made up of very small teams, by organising something on behalf of the 9 race courses, it gives everyone the opportunity to send someone from their team, whether it's from the office or the ground staff team, depending on the different skills. But also, we've put messages out to our Yorkshire trainers. I had our sponsored jockey came along to our litter pick last year. We were working on the garden at Jackberry House, and we had some sponsors come along to help with that. We've had put out pictures, and some of the hospitality staff, caterers, have said, we want to get involved in that next year. So it isn't just race courses, it is the racing community. And yes. I think, Juliet, you're proof of that as well, from your side of things. Juliet, why do you think it's important for racing organisations to be involved in their local areas?
I think there is a bit of particularly in Newmarket, if you drive down Bury Road, you have lots of big gates, basically. You've no idea what's going on behind there. And there's a whole world going on behind there. And I think we're just a bit, sometimes we can just be a little bit behind the gates. And I think it's really good to show the community that we aren't a gated community, and actually we're part of a larger thing in the area. We contribute a huge amount, but also we are part of that community, and just stretching your hand out occasionally is good for both sides, frankly, and just makes us a bit more approachable. And also, we don't necessarily know everything that's going on in Newmarket. Newmarket is a proper hub for racing, obviously, but there's huge numbers of little charities and support groups and all sorts of things going on here that we don't necessarily know about. And the more we can network and be aware of that, the more influence and the more impact we have across the community.
Yeah. And just to follow that up, Juliet, you said about how it was good to get the team out of the office for the day. Do you want to expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, as a company, we do try and have things away from the office, because we can all sit in here glued to our screens, beavering away. And it is just nice particularly to get out into the open air, because most of us has come from that background somewhere along the way. And just chat to each other and laugh at what you've picked up out of the hedgerow, whatever that might be. And it just makes us all a bit more human, and just it's that different sort of connection, isn't it, than just working in an office together.
Yeah, absolutely. Jo, you said you were a small team, so how has being involved in Community Day benefited your racecourse, benefited Chelmsford?
Yeah, well, I mean, we are a small team, but I think it definitely does bring people together. Exactly like Juliet was saying, everyone has got their own department glued to their screen, and I think it's for their well-being as well. I mean, from my point of view, we're a busy race course. We have a lot of fixtures because we're all weather. So my way is to pick a week where there isn't a race day. So because even if there's a race day that week, it could be the days either side, people are busy. We do private events as well. So I try and pick, the best weeks to sort of maximise the team, really, to go out. And I mean, everybody enjoyed it, and they were buzzing. And for the next week, we were talking about it, and we had some lovely photos, and it is a nice memory, really nice memory. And then at the end of the day, it's all about that you have helped, and having the feedback from where you've volunteered and who you've helped endorses it, and it's just wonderful. So yeah, I would. We're doing the Carers Week, and we'll be going out on 2 volunteering days so far this year, along with all I know this is more volunteering webinar, but I could speak about community and charity till the cows come home, so I won't chew your ears off too much, but there's just so much you can do.
Yeah. And Nicola, I guess again you're seeing that from the different perspective. I mean, did you have you've been working with Ayr Racecourse for a long time, but the perception of the racecourse in the area, how's that working with the community engagement day?
I think for us, the greatest benefit is awareness raising of our charity, and that's what the partnership brings. Is we as a charity are exposed to people in the community that we potentially wouldn't be able to reach or be able to get in contact with, and that's where it's absolutely fundamental. The partnership is that the exposure and the awareness raising of our charity, actually, the statistics where it was 1 in 2 people diagnosed with cancer, the recent statistics just about to be released is 2 in 3 people now will be diagnosed with cancer in our lifetime. So actually, letting people know we're here. These are the comprehensive range of services we offer. We're here when you need it. You might not think about it now because it might not, but one day your life might change, and actually you know where to go to seek the help or the support that you need when you have a cancer diagnosis. So for us, awareness raising is key, actually, absolutely key, and obviously the monetary aspect. So at race meets we can sell raffle tickets, and we're also then introduced to partner organisations like Virgin Bet, who will give us a percentage of winnings of a certain race or whatever, which is obviously gratefully received. And then we can also get a portion of the race cards. And also there's a donation, Ayr Racecourse have a donation button on their website when people are booking tickets. So obviously money, yes, is absolutely, it's vital, and Ayr Racecourse are founding sponsors. So just in the last 2 years alone, for example, they have raised £45,000 for us to become founding sponsors of our new cancer support centre in Ayr. And again, they are now founding sponsors. That's for the whole community. That is a phenomenal legacy to leave, as an institution. But also, in terms of the community then realise the impact that for good impact that Ayr Racecourse do in the community that they operate in. Because it can be, certainly when you live in a town that has a racecourse, it can be, racing's on again this weekend, influx of people, the towns, So actually there's a really beneficial side to it also.
Yeah, that's great to hear, because I think it's very important that the racecourses are seen as a bit of a community hub, and I think this is something that Community Day is really being able to bring forward. It's not just the activity on Community Day itself or whenever the racecourses or whoever they are decide to do their activity, but I think it is certainly bringing wider recognition between the community and the racecourses, so that they're forging better relationships.
Yeah,
and benefiting from each other, which I think is the key.
It's key, absolutely key. And for example, we always get complimentary tickets. So we're a volunteer-led charity. So we have over 300 volunteers that volunteer across a variety of areas within our charity. And Ayr Racecourse will offer complimentary tickets on race days and race meets for our volunteers. And again, for us, our volunteers are the backbone of our charity, and to actually, to recognise, the work that they do and how valued they are, it's just another way to actually, give back. Certainly for us as a charity. And we also have another initiative where we have a retail shop, but actually being able to drop off donations to that retail shop isn't ideal because of parking restrictions, etc. So a local construction company has donated a porta cabin to us, which Ayr Racecourse have kindly put in their grounds, and then we're able to access that for anybody within Ayrshire to go and drop off their donations at certain days every month. So again, it's just another example of how good and how close our partnerships are and how it benefits.
That's great. Now, just a reminder that obviously we have got the Q&A box if anyone has a question, and one more has just popped up. So the question is, what more do panelists think could be done to capture the full impact of racing's community activity? And do you think this work is appreciated and valued as much as it might be by the sport's big players? So Jo, do you want to take that to start with? How do you think?
Well, I definitely think the racing industry appreciates it. For example, the RCA Awards is a great example to celebrate, obviously different race days, but there's the community race day as well. So, I mean, I would hope so, definitely, and building partnerships. And I mean, we don't support one charity, so we do things slightly different to Ayrshire, but we support a range of charities, and I'd just like to go across a diverse sector. But yeah, I mean, I think building those relationships is definitely going to benefit everybody, and importantly, children are obviously the next generation of race goers. So one of my focuses is definitely on children. And there's, again, lots of ways that you can involve children in the racecourse. We're launching a kids club, and we're hopefully having a kids open day as well this year. So as well as doing the other end of the spectrum, I'm having an Alzheimer's event as well. And that's a non-race day event. So that's another community day, really to help out with the community, to bring them in. We've also joined the Horses for Courses Raw programme. So our new ambassador, Jack Truth, will be visiting the racecourse, so we can bring him in. So I think I drifted off slightly from the question, but yes, I think definitely it's so beneficial. You can't go wrong with community and charity.
Yeah. And Juliet, do you think we could be doing more to sort of capture the full impact of this activity?
Yeah, I mean, I think racing together already by collating this and publicising this, and then obviously doing their summary afterwards. I think, this is a really good start to it. And back to Jo's point about awards, we've also got the Thoroughbred Industry Employee Awards. They recognise community impact as well, as do the ROR Awards. So it is being recognised and at a high level, and people are being not rewarded for it, that's not the right word, but at least recognised for what they're doing. And racing as a whole, it does actually understand the impact and the necessity to be part of the community. So I don't think we are underplaying it. Yes, we can always do more, but I think as much as anything comes back slightly to the art of the possible, and word of mouth, as ever, is the best way I generally find, and advocates like we are all here today helps get that message over.
Yeah, I quite agree with you there, Juliet. And I think, as we've touched on, putting out your own social media, your own press releases, and getting the support of the big groups like the Jockey Club, ARC, BHA and Press, it really helps to spread that message, and it encourages people for next year. It allows you to build some momentum. So
also, I think if on the actual days as well, we get the race day presenter involved if they're up for it, and obviously we've got the big screen and the race cards, so we have that platform to be able to spread the word. So yeah, I mean, I think it definitely makes a big impact.
Yeah. And Jo, you mentioned that you work with lots of different charities. So how do you choose a charity? Do you have a criteria, or how do you?
Right, so a good example is our Autism in Race Day. So we did the first one 2 years ago, and obviously it's a brilliant initiative, and that's Racing Together. So we had Lucy visit, and we, as everybody probably is aware, if you're not aware, Autism in Racing is on a race day where we invite autistic children with their families to come and enjoy a safe space in collaboration with Immersive Interactive, which is an amazing sensory room. So it's part funded. We do have to pay some money, but this is to help autistic children and bring them into racing when they wouldn't normally have done. So we got involved in creating a really good space in a marquee, and we put our own sort of play equipment. But one of the big things is, kind of going back to the previous question as well, is how we do it. Is you don't even have to have a big budget, because one of my fortes is that I do everything without a budget. So sort of really borrowing and stealing for, to set these things up. So we did it in a marquee. It was amazing. And then last year I approached a charity. So this is one of the charities that I'd chosen, the reason why. So I chose a local charity as they were quite new, and they support SEND children in the community. So I approached the charity to ask if they would like to come down for the day to raise their profile. So they brought a gazebo down, we offered them raffle prizes, and in return, they gave me a team of people from their playgroup. They bought some equipment, and we were able to open a second marquee. So we had 2 big marquees. So one was for the play area with sensory toys, and the team doing some amazing activities with the children. Then we had obviously the immersive sensory room, which is restricted for certain children, because it's for their benefit, so that we don't have it too crowded. But we invite all the children in the local community that have autism, and we opened another big marquee that was more restful. We set up a screen with sort of shapes going on the screen, which was brilliant for the children just to watch. Soft music playing. We had the bar open, they could get themselves a hot drink, relaxing furniture, a few low-key tabletop activities. And so this young charity called Pop Essex was that we raised their profile, we put them in the race card, we had an interview with them, and it was just great. So I choose charities, I like to choose across a diverse sector. So the Royal British Legion, Blesma, who's for the limbless veterans, Pop Essex, which is a local children's charity. I have a whole lot of, I can't even remember them all now, but the Abberton Rural Training, who's again for veterans. President's Sporting Club, which is another big one for children. They help disadvantaged and disabled children get into sport. So that's obviously very key, because we're a sporting venue, so I support them as well. So I choose charities that kind of, sometimes they come my way, and obviously through the networking and through all these events you do meet other people. So it's, once you get out there, it is really important to put yourself out there, network, speak to people, and then you realize where where the need is really, and how you can help these charities. And if it seems suitable that they could fit in with an event, it could be a race day, it could be a non-race day, then ideally anything's possible. If I'm honest with you, anything is possible. Any charity you can help. I mean, Ladies' Day, we invited a breast cancer charity down because it fits in with the lady theme. But again, it's just, it's amazing for them. Tomorrow I've got the Essex Horse and Pony Protection Society coming down to raise some money. So yeah, there's just so many charities that I love to get involved with and help, and volunteer personally as well in the community. So
I think you've also given us another really good example of how one idea grows and blossoms and you can just keep progressing with it, which is
we've tripled the amount from last year for the Autism Day.
Wow.
And then this year we're expecting it to be even bigger. So the feedback we get, and the people, we're marketing it now, and the people can't wait to get tickets. I mean, we've had some really great feedback, and it gives you a lot of satisfaction. You're helping a charity, you're helping these children. They want to return to racing, and they just have a great day. So, all in all, it's just amazing, and we do really, really enjoy these events.
Great. Well, we are sort of coming towards the end of our discussion, but we've still got time for a couple of questions. But I think one thing I would like to know from all of you, what would be your top tips for organising your first community day? Juliet, you did your first community day last year. What would be your top tips for anyone who's doing it for the first time this year?
I think, one, keep it simple, because that's always a good place to start. Two, also, get in contact with Racing Together, because I know Alex is organising, lists of contacts in different areas, so people have got an idea where to go to if they want to take part, be it local, charities or whatever. And I know a few people in Newmarket last year, several companies sort of joined together and kind of shared the load, as it were. So again, that's probably a really easy way to get in, because you probably joining up with somebody who's done it before, so they'll be able to just sort of guide you a bit. So yeah, we had no idea, but even I managed to organise it, so it couldn't be that hard.
So what about you, Joe? I think your first community day was probably a while ago now, but can you remember what you took from the first one and what you would advise others to do?
So the very first community day was really setting up the carers race day, and to set that up, it was going online, finding the Eden Project Communities Week, which was just a brilliant starting point and gave me lots of ideas. And then when we went out to volunteer, it's a case of just looking at local companies, local charities who might have sites that might need some help on. And it's really a case of just contacting them and then, asking if they do volunteering days, and you'll find that a lot of them actually do. And then it's really agreeing a date, putting it out to the team. Generally, they're quite simple things. It doesn't take a lot of organising. It's just having the commitment from the team, a date when, everyone can make it in the calendar, and then keeping in touch with the charity or the organisation or whatever you're doing, just to get all the details, timings, and then really, if you're mucking in, get your boots on and your gloves if that's what you're doing, and get stuck in really and have a really great day.
And Nicola, what about from the different perspective, if someone rings you and says, we've got a team of people that could come and help, what can we do? What would be your tips about getting people involved, or as a recipient, what do you need?
Yeah, I would agree with everything Joe and Juliet said, is get in contact with your local charities, because you can make the biggest difference with your local charities. As you say, build up the relationship with them, ask them what will be the biggest impact. If we have a team of people and we come and help you for a day, or what will make the most, or what will have the most impact for you, or where is your priorities in terms of what can we help you with? And it's just having that open connection, that good relationship with them to actually make a difference to the community you serve in. And I just say, keep it simple. You can go as grand as you want, but generally the simpler it is, or the easier it is to achieve, and the bigger impact it'll have.
Brilliant. And would you say, Juliet, that being involved with Community Day, did it sort of develop your skill set, or maybe you can see ways that it'll be developed in the future?
Yeah, I think, certainly sort of self-actualization, there's definitely a part of that. It's kind of in our nature. But I think particularly this year, we're a bit more interested in, let's say, going out to other charities in our area, networking a bit more, that side of things, and just making those links and start to understand what is going on in our community. And that in itself, I think, will help inform what we do next.
I can certainly relate to that. I think that after organising the first one, the confidence you have for the going forwards and what you can offer as well is definitely a big thing. And Joe, you must have seen a big sort of developing in skill set with the broad range of charities that you're working with and the things that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's developed into a massive passion of mine, and it has just snowballed. I'm very busy with charities, but getting out there, networking, you just can't go wrong. Our Remembrance Race Day, I mean, with being in touch with one of my charities and volunteering there, going out and volunteering for the children's Christmas party was the last one. I met so many people, because you'll be surprised how many volunteers are actually involved in these charities regularly. And they want to offer their services, they want to offer contacts. So, you know, I think getting out there and talking to people is really, really, it is key. It's fundamental to building those relationships. And yeah, and then you'll find that things just grow from there. You get introduced to other charities, and you get ideas of, you know, what you can do next to help them, and that, you know, they'll want to come to you sometimes, and you know, so yeah, it's just snowballed, really.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we've got about 5 minutes left. One thing that I know was quite a big focus last year was donating to food banks and working with a lot of organisations working with the Trussell Trust. And I think that's a very interesting area as well. Again, if you're not sure what to do for the first time, or a bit pushed for resource, or even, you know, time to, because you are a small team and giving up that time, I think if you have a collection or a donation point, that's a really good starting place to start engaging with the community. I know Scottish Racing did a collection of riding equipment, and we're able to sort of give that to local riding schools and places that needed it, and Tattersalls donate leftover food to Newmarket Open Door. Have you done anything like that at Chelmsford?
Well, I did a hamper at Christmas. So it was just, again, getting the team to bring in an item for a hamper. So, I mean, we could hopefully we'll do more this year, but we did a hamper for a charity that support Blesma, and this was a widow of a veteran, and so, you know, it was a case of, yeah, just getting everyone in to bring in a, you know, nice luxury item for a hamper, and it was amazing, and we wrapped it up really nicely, and it was delivered to the recipient. So it's a small thing like that you could do. You know, it's really doesn't take much effort, but it is a case of, again, just getting everyone involved.
And I think another example of you know, the community involvement, it isn't just one day, it is throughout the year. Community engagement day this year is Wednesday the 8th of May, but if you can't do that day, there's other days available around it, or later in the year. And I know Ripon, sort of going back to that point, they did a Harvest Festival race day last year. I think it was the first time, and they're doing it again this year. And racegoers brought food to take to a local food bank. So that's a really good way as well of engaging even more people and more stakeholders across the industry. Yeah, great. Well, I think we've really touched on. We've had some great experiences from all of you, both from going out and giving, and also from Nicola, where you've really used the services of your racecourse. We've got some really good examples of long-term engagement, long-term partnerships that have come out of Community Day, and I'm really excited about what the future holds. I think as an industry, we're really sort of gripping this and taking it forwards and making strides and making those connections. So I think that's absolutely hats off to Racing Together for leading on this and getting everyone involved. What I would say is, if you're thinking about it, either get involved. You don't have to start off with a great big world-changing project. Something local would be absolutely great. And, you know, talk to other people, get involved with other people if you want to first. A slide's just come up here, so we've got information about the Community Day. If you want to find out any more, it's all there. Contact Florence at Racing to School. Alex, as Juliet said, has got lots of ideas as well. So thank you very much everyone for coming to the webinar today. get the information that you need together. And I really look forward to seeing your social media and what's happening on the 8th of May.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Thank you,
Nice to
Julia.
meet you too.
Thank you,
Thank
Joe.
you.